Hello, my friends, and welcome back. I'm Chiscool Gaming, and I've been playing city building war games for the last 6 years. So I know better than most that you win some and you lose some, and this time around, man, we lost. And it wasn't for lack of strategy. In fact, we were winning until they emulated some of what we were doing, and then we were losing because, let me tell you, our opponents, I mean, look, we got some strong players, but when I show you this report, you're going to be like, okay, I understand. I understand. Okay. This is our best player, Pale One, defending with a defending lineup. Okay. We are getting cooked. We have full troops. We're getting cooked. Okay. And okay, this is our best player, but brother, holy, when I show you the stat diff here, you're going to be like, all right, cheesy. Okay. Okay, 1,847% health. This is our third SvS, bro. And we are battling into 1,847. So yeah, we didn't win. And it's okay. We had a lot of fun. That I feel like is arguably in a situation like this, the most important thing. Like we're all in voice. We were doing great at the start, but we get far enough in that they figured out how to reinforce through multi-rallies and counter-rally and do some of these things that we were doing. And I mean, like, what are you going to do when you're running triples and you can't knock them out? Like, they took the center. We couldn't knock them out of the center, even with the high-power players we had. And it is what it is. They got the W. It was a lot of fun. They were solid opponents. With the exception of like what I would consider to be some minor and understandable misunderstandings of the rules and some errors made by players, like we set a common set of rules that I think were generally followed, and I think were great. So for those wondering what rules we had in place for our SvS, I can show you I actually sent mails out for this a bunch of times, and I actually do want to show that like I repeatedly sent mails that was like, hey, here's the rules. Like every day I sent the rules out, okay? So our rules are really simple. No state invasion or city battles until 20 minutes after the castle finishes. Now, funny enough is that although that's a simple rule, apparently there was some misunderstanding into what was meant by this. I thought it was really clear because we were literally like saying the same thing. But what I meant by that was when the timer for the castle goes to 0, it's ended. And 20 minutes after that, city battles, right? I think their interpretation was closer to like, oh, so you've given up, or oh, so we've got 3 hours on this now. So now city battles begin. And we talked about that with our president, he and I, and he was very chill. Like the president was very chill, easy to talk to, easy to find alignment on things. Like it was, I think, a very amenable SvS. Like it's funny in a game where like obviously you're at war with your opponent here. Like everybody in all SvSs I've done has been very chill, in my opinion. Maybe we've just had very good fortune in who we get matched with, but everyone's been very chill. So no state invasion or city battles until 20 minutes after castle finishes. Again, there was a little bit of confusion there. They waited until I think there was like an hour or so left on the castle, but like we basically, I don't know, like 2-ish, maybe 2.5, 3 hours in, maybe more. I don't remember how long, but like some number of hours into the battle, we were like, okay, we can't even multi-rally to take this thing. It's GG, and that's okay. Right. And that's okay. And so we were like, okay, congratulations, GG, you got it. So anyways, I defended some cities. I'll show you those reports. It was pretty wild. And so then the other thing we had is a rule about where to teleport, which I thought was also really chill. So we went north and east. They went south and west. And, someone was in the wrong place from our side, from our state. Worth noting that I was able to use the president's skill to relocate and bubble a city to get them out. So that was kind of cool. So they were like, hey, dude, like we're going to have to rally this guy to burn him out of here and still have enough time to like, port in and put our guy on the front line. So they let me know, and someone from our team figured out that we could use a president's skill and relocate the player, which we did. So that got him out of there. But yeah, like generally the rules were followed. And it's funny because like, we'll talk about this now briefly, but in an SVS, even though I was sending the rules every day, even though we have a state Discord and I sent the rules there to officers and told them to distribute it, which they did, and also to players, there's a section that like I distributed there. There were people in a couple of alliances that broke rules and they were, low to mid power, I think, that went and zeroed cities before like that was supposed to happen. But I think they also got kind of wrecked while they were doing it. So like, I don't know. But like my perspective on like minor rule breaking is like, it's just going to happen. Like it's a city building war game. States are huge. People are going to make mistakes. This doesn't make it okay. Those players are going to get some amount of discipline or a conversation and like a strike system. We're going to put something in play that makes it really clear, like you can't do that kind of stuff. So those players like ultimately will receive some level of discipline. Probably a strike system where the first time is some amount of warning and like second time it becomes, much more fierce. I'd actually be very curious for what your approach for that is. But like, I starred some reports here of when it was time to defend cities because like, look, the part of the reason that I'm so chill about the fact that city hitting started sooner than I thought it was going to happen is that I was extremely clear with everybody repeatedly that like, if you're not online, you should be bubbled. And I've been doing that for like 3 SVSs. So if you are not actively fighting, you should be bubbled. Straight up, that's it. Very simple. So we had many hours after Castle Battle fighting stopped and before city attacks started, even though the city attacks came like sooner than I was expecting, like everybody should have been bubbled. And like, if you weren't, like, I don't know what you're doing, man. It's like, I'm not, it is what it is. Like, I don't know how to, if you got to defend your stuff, man. You got to do some common sense self-defense, right? Here is a Withroad rally against Maz. Okay. Now Withroad is one of our other strongest players in our state, right? But this illustrates another reason why we were struggling to get the center from them at times. At the start, we did great, and we were actually winning, okay? But then, like, they really ramped up their strategy throughout, and I thought they did a very good job of that. But, like, we have a troop tier disadvantage, too. I think they have twice as many FC5s and 4s as us. That's what I had heard, but I haven't looked at it or verified it because, like, to some extent, I don't care. It doesn't, like, really meaningfully change our strategy. Like, it's bad for us that that's the case, but, like, this is a very whaled state, and they did very whaled things, and that works. So, yeah, Withroad is our second strongest player, and, like, we're short by 500+% of stats on, infantry health, as an example. This guy is just super Kraken mode. And it's funny because Pale One's like, bro, next time. Pale One's like, next time. I'm coming back with a vengeance. So, we'll see what Pale One's stats look like the next time this happens. So anyways, city attacks started happening. And I guess I should have hit record. I just didn't think much was going to happen. But I'm in the hive, bubbled up reinforcing players at this point. Because it's like, all right, well, if you're hitting cities, like, I'm going to reinforce them, right? Like, easy. And I don't have to worry about my city. I'm bubbled, right? Okay, I'm bubbled. Like, hit who you're going to hit, right? So I protect this player, Min Min, who is getting dead troops from their hospital overflowing. And the reason I'm able to do that is that this is not his geared up army, okay? So I'm able to put my captains in there, and even though my stats... I still don't have great stats compared to this guy, even when he doesn't even have his hero gear. It's crazy, right? So these are my heroes, my stats, my buffs. But we're taking trades now because he's taking dead troops, all right? And the city's got a lot of troops. So troop count is a big deal in this game, which I think is kind of cool. So he takes 68k loss. He swings in. He was swinging 6 at a time. Okay, so it's another 68k loss for them, a 68k loss again, and then another 68k loss again. I mean, I'm big chilling, reinforcing the city, 68k again, 68k again, but now I'm in GOAT. Okay, so GOAT's right next to me, Goat's got a lot of troops in there. Okay, Goat has got a lot of troops. So we're in his city, and he's got higher tier troops. He's FC3, so you can see the average troop is FC3 here. I sent my 5s, obviously, but like now I'm defending against Maz's main army. So this is really interesting in my opinion, which is part of the reason I want to make a video, is to see like, hey, what happens if you have a lot of troops? But obviously, like, bro, I mean, I've spent like 12 grand, 15 grand in Whiteout Survival. I'd have to look at like how much I've spent. I don't know how much Maz has spent, but like, bro has got double my health stat for infantry, practically. I mean, just forget about it, right? Just technically, I'm also playing the game. But what's interesting is that, like, look, I win the defense here in Goat City because I got enough stats and enough troops, and the troop diff here is massive. I mean, I have more than 10x the troops, which, like, as it turns out, is a big deal. Plus, when you're defending, you get a favorable ratio of losses to injured. You take no losses at all until your hospital's overflowing. So we take a W here against the first hit. The second hit, same thing. The third hit, same thing. You can see the total troop count is going down. I'm not like flashing the same report on the screen over and over again. The next hit, same story. And this time actually up to 87,000 lost for Maz. Crazy, man. Another 87,000. And a part of it is that Maz is like sending all his armies, he's all 6, right? Just boom, 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 boom. But, you know, I reinforced. And he doesn't know that until he's hit, because obviously I sped in. So like you can't even really tell that it's happened if you aren't looking. Like, and even then, this city is like literally right next to mine. So I was fast, man. You might not have seen me get in there. Another 87.8. And then here we go. Another city I rushed in. This is also Goat, actually. Now Goat's hospital's overflowing. But like, okay, 6K. I mean, okay. To the 67K. And like at the end of the day, you get your troops back. So many of them from SvS. So like it's gonna everybody who's taking hits here is gonna be fine. Even our players that got zeroed, which like that's on them. And to some extent, this is gonna sound crazy, but like if it's SvS and you've gotten messages all week leading up to it, tags on Discord, and you're still getting zeroed, like it's easy to forget. And like also like what, like isn't a 24-hour peace shield like the cheapest, easiest option to avoid this outcome, among other things, right? Like it's so preventable that like it's how do I say this? It makes me a little bit of an ass, but like to some extent, the people who can't figure out how to keep their stuff safe and probably aren't contributing much to your state anyways, and end up being in some ways, perhaps a burden to the state, because they're adding all this power that contributes to you potentially being a leading state without adding punch or relevance. I don't know, whatever. Up next, 56.8. And well, yeah, we're chilling. We're chilling. So, I was able to defend some folks, but others did get zeroed. And you can see, where's my city? Over here. Goat's right next to me. So like that was an easy defend, right? Easy defend. So yeah, a good SvS overall. I had solid interactions with the president of the other state. We agreed beforehand, like, hey, we won't give each other negative titles if one team or the other wins prep and castle. And yeah, I mean, I think we had a respectable showing. And then as soon as they were doing, you know, like all the same strategic things we were doing, right? And it's not rocket science, like, it's, you know, standard stuff, like, you know, the counter rallies, etc. Yeah, we couldn't take them out of the castle. We launched at the very end. We had like 7 rallies set on the castle just for fun, and they freaking got out. Bro, we set 7 rallies on the castle where we were like, we'll knock them out this time. And like, they left someone behind who was not Maz. And so like, yeah, we took the castle and we just end up hitting ourselves. Like it was a lot of fun, actually. We had a lot of fun, which is probably the best sign overall. Actually, like I'm very happy with the experience of SvS in our state, even when we were losing. And that is very important because we've never lost before. We've also only had 3. So, like, take it easy on the record thing. But, like, we've never lost before. And so I wasn't sure how people would handle it. And everybody was just having a good time. Right. And it's in part because it's like, well, what are you going to do? Like, we just don't have the stats to do what we need to do. It's not an excuse. It's just like there's realities here. It's, I'm sure there are actually optimizations. In fact, we did notate some optimizations that we'll go and make between now and our next SvS. That's a part of our sort of, I don't know what to call it a process, but something we do every time is we say, okay, like, what do we need to do between now and the next SvS? And we write it down. We literally have a to-do list. So I'm going to get after the to-do list. We need to talk about the state transfers. We're a leading state, man, which is a real bummer because we have all these awesome people that were lined up to join us, and a bunch of them are not going to be able to get in, which is a rip. But yeah, I'll talk about transfers again soon. Probably tomorrow I'll have a video. But if you want to see my last transfer video and you want to see how to transfer to our state, I'll have a card over here. You got to be under 84.5 million power if that's something you're interested in. And if someone is saying, oh, well, you just lost SvS, I don't want to transfer you to your state, thank goodness. Please don't. Right? Like, the good news about having a loss on the books is, like, if there are roaches, like, please, the door's over here, right? Like, you can see your way out if that's how people feel. Like, you want to have people in your state that are cool with taking a loss periodically, because, like, that's just going to happen, man. It's part of the game. Like I said, I think I said this at the start of the video, I've been doing this for 6+ years. My other channel's got 250,000 subscribers. So I've been covering this for a while. I've seen a lot of games. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some. We lost this one, and it was a good battle. I had a lot of fun. All right, until next time, you have fun smashing your enemies. Take care, everybody.